So, hello, boys and girls. Today we are going to be talking about adjectives. And an adjective is a word that describes either a noun or a pronoun. And it may answer one or more of these three questions. How many? Which one? And what kind? So if I'm thinking about words that answer the question, how many, maybe those words are a number, like 2, 6, and 3/4. If it's what kind, I'm thinking of a word that is going to give me a description of a noun or a pronoun. Like if I'm describing a person, maybe I'm describing them as inconsiderate, maybe I'm describing them as sympathetic, or if I'm describing a thing, like a surface of something, maybe I would describe it as abrasive. I could also use abrasive as an adjective to describe a person as well. And if I'm describing which one, I'm using a descriptive word that could describe the properties of something. Maybe something is smooth, something is enormous, or something is colorful. So on your worksheet, read the sentences below, then circle the adjectives. When you're finished, pause the video and then come back to check your work. Now you can look at the answers and check your work. You can see here both interesting and boring are adjectives that describe the words adjectives and stories. In the second sentence, young and old and exciting, the words young and old describe the noun people, and the word exciting describes the noun adventures. And in the third sentence, the words refreshing and nutritious describe the snack. So sometimes we put adjectives together and separate them by a comma, and sometimes we spread them out throughout the sentence. Adjectives have 3 degrees of comparison. There's a positive form, the comparative form, and the superlative form. And I like to think of it as it's a different degree of strength in the adjective. So you have something that's big, and then the comparative form is that it is bigger, and the superlative is the most extreme form of the adjective, and that would be biggest. One-syllable adjectives usually change their positive forms by adding ER or EST. So on your worksheet, go ahead and add ER or EST to these adjectives to change their form. Two-syllable adjectives either change their positive forms by adding ER or EST or by using the word more or most before the adjective. On your worksheet, pause the video first, and then on your worksheet, fill out the chart. Now check your work by looking at the answers. You can see some of them are very simple and you just add ER and EST, but when you get down to foolish and eager, you have to see how it sounds. So if you said foolisher or foolishest, that wouldn't make much sense. Here you have to add the word more and most before the adjective. 3-syllable adjectives usually change their positive forms by adding the words more or most. So go ahead and pause the video and fill out your chart by adding the words more or most. And then there's irregular adjectives. These are the ones that kind of break all the rules. This is where we have to just try different ways, both adding most or more before or after, or also just knowing a different vocabulary word for that word. So take a look at this chart and think about how you can create a comparative and a superlative adjective out of the words. The first one is the word bad. So the comparative form of bad is worse, and the superlative, which is that word in its extreme form, is worst. Go ahead and try the rest and pause the video and then come back to check your work. Check your work to see how you did. In some cases, like in the words many and much, you're just using the words more and most.